And we're back. My name is Monica. I'm a local realtor here, and I'm your host of Real Talk in Real Estate. And I'm excited about our topic today. It's the millennial migration from living at home to buying a home. So we are right at the point of some things to consider when you're a millennial, you're planning for your future. What are some things to think about and to get ahead of? So, number one, your chosen career path. It's definitely a good idea to have an idea of what your expected salary, what your expected income will be, and the opportunities for growth with that particular career path. Will it afford you the lifestyle that you expect, right? In terms of being able to purchase a home, travel, provide for your family, things like that. So, definitely get a better idea of what your income will be with your chosen career path. Second, location, location, location. That's the golden rule of real estate. So understanding demographics, right? So finding a good combination of opportunity and cost of living. So we talked about the cost of rent or the cost of purchasing a home in different areas of the country. Definitely looking at places that are more affordable to purchase, whether it's Dallas, Texas, Houston, Texas, some hubs that definitely have a good marriage of career opportunity and just lifestyle. So, looking at location, um, also living with family or roommates. Okay, so sometimes you have to take a step back to take a step forward, take a leap forward. So, consider the pros and cons. Okay, so some pros of living with your family would be to pay off debt, right? Your student loan debt, any credit card debt you may have. It's an opportunity to build savings and also save for a house, of course. What would be the cons? Living with family. Okay, maybe you may have to have a certain schedule so you put yourself in a position where you're not butting heads. If that's the case, you may just be baking cookies and brownies every day with your family. It just depends. But some people would say, well, I don't have as much privacy. I can't come and go. No overnight guests. Less freedom. So there's a cost, right? You consider the cost of being able to save for that period of time, whether that's 2 years or three. It just depends on what works best for you. Um, while I'm on that subject, I'll definitely share a recent conversation I had. I was at the Cheesecake Factory for happy hour. They actually have happy hour. And it was a young lady next to me. We sparked up a conversation, and she was around 20 something. And she was a sommelier, a wine connoisseur. And then, we talked about what she does, and she asked me what I do. And I said, I'm in real estate. So the conversation opened up, and she said, oh, I'm really thinking about purchasing in a couple years. And I said, oh, that's great. And I said, buying my home was the best thing I've ever done. And she said, yeah, well, I think I'm off to a pretty good start. I have about $500,000 saved. So after I picked my bottom lip up, I'm like, I'm really curious. How did you come about building that foundation of savings? That's incredible. And she said her parents really drove home saving a significant amount of their income. So they saved roughly 50 to 70% of their income and lived very modestly, not in a big lavish home, but a comfortable home. Didn't drive luxury cars, just economy cars, and they built wealth that way. So she was able to get that in her DNA and really save an amazing amount of money. So I put that out there because if you implement that, it can really make a difference. So just imagine if you take that mindset of really being aggressive with your savings in light of being that temporary inconvenience for long-term comfort. It makes a lot of sense, a lot of dollars and cents, I might add. So something to think about. Again, how will you pay back your student loan debt if you didn't have scholarships and grants? How are you planning to pay that money back? Are you going to put it in a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan? Really aggressively looking at paying that down. Why? Because if you don't, it will double on you. So that is something to definitely have an action plan in terms of how you're going to pay off your consumer debt. Now, this is where home ownership comes into play. Let's say you've been working a while, you've been saving, your income is continuing to rise. Purchasing a home that's in your price range could be just what you need to kill two birds with one stone. Here's why. As you're paying that mortgage, you're still in a position to save. And how would you do that? By bringing in a roommate or two. So in this area, let's say your mortgage is roughly $1,600 a month, right? Starter home, just the basics, but it's a 3-bedroom home. If you rent out each of those rooms for $800, what's that? That's $1,600 a month. That's your mortgage. That is the opportunity to have 2 roommates paying your mortgage, right? While you get the tax write-off. And then that $1,600 that you were originally going to save or pay for your mortgage, you can now aggressively pay down your student loan debt. Okay, so again, home ownership can be used as a strategy to save and to pay down debt if done right, right? So definitely consider that as an option for home ownership. Okay, so we talked about putting money down, right? We talked about your savings. We talked about, all these different options, working a second job, contributing to your retirement plan. So again, it's just having a goal, and as we reach 2020, it is so important to write your goals down and to have a timeline. Okay, time goes by like that. It is amazing, how time just creeps up on you. And it has a way of just changing. I can remember being in college and ramen noodles was like something you get in a care package, oodles and noodles, 10 for $1. And now it's a delicacy. Okay, that's time. Time has a way of taking something that had no value and now it's the latest thing. So one thing that's timeless is home ownership. Home ownership gives you control. It gives you more opportunity. It gives you an asset that you can leverage. It just gives you the foundation of building wealth. Anyone will tell you that, whether you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you follow any major, business publication, real estate is always at the top. So it's important that we give the next generation the tools to be able to take advantage of purchasing their first home. Okay, so there's a lot of information out here. There's a lot of resources. I'm committing myself to homebuyer education, and that's part of the reason why I'm doing this show, to really help our viewers make educated decisions when it comes to finance and real estate. So definitely, again, share this. If this content, you find this content valuable, please share it with your friends and family, your colleagues. We definitely want to see more people taking advantage of home ownership. So I definitely want to kind of look at, if we kind of rewind and say, what are some things if you could do differently, right? So this is me and my 40-something self talking to my 20-something self. What would I do differently? And I wrote a couple things down here. So don't settle with your education, okay? At the time when you're in school, you're just thinking, it's something you have to do versus something you want to do. But at some point, that's going to transition to a career and how much money you make. So it's really important that you do your very best in terms of your education. Don't settle in your finances, right? So always have an emergency fund. An emergency fund is considered 3 to 6 months of living expenses. And that can be, for anything. You get a flat tire, you need car maintenance. But it's definitely important to have that stash because you're going to need it at some point. So don't settle in your finances. Always have money set to the side. Don't settle for a low salary. You may have been on your jobs for years, right? And you get your reviews and you kind of go with the flow. Don't be afraid. If you've earned it, don't be afraid to ask for that raise. And if they're not willing to give it to you, then you should be shopping your resume around to get what you're worth. And that's something that we leave on the table. I did retirement planning for years, and it's more or less looking at how much of your salary are you saving towards your retirement. And the biggest component of that is your salary, is your income. So if you're not positioning yourself to constantly see growth in your salary, you are really stubbing your toe, okay, financially. So again, don't settle for a low salary because that impacts everything else. That impacts how much is going towards your retirement. That impacts how much you can pay down debt and how much you can put towards savings. Okay? So challenge yourself to always reach the next level. Don't settle for just anyone. Okay? And that can be translated to friendships, relationships, choosing a partner. It's so important that if you've done the work on yourself, you're, treating people right, you want to be treated right. Okay? And a lot of times when we look at how people migrate after school or, once they get out in the real world, and, who you partner with has a profound effect on the life you're going to live. Okay? So it's important to keep that in mind. Put yourself first. Don't settle for just anyone. Make sure you're with someone who treats you right. Don't settle for poor health. Eat your veggies. Eat something green. Eat healthier, right? Eat and exercise. A lot of our health conditions can be avoided: diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, if we just ate right. Don't settle for renting, okay? Own something, all right? So I'm always going to drive that home. Own something. Don't settle for your old self, okay? A lot of times people put you in a box of who you used to be. You don't have to settle for that. Always strive to be the best version of yourself. And those are just some key things that I can honestly speak to, that when it comes to the quality of life that you want, it's something that is your choice. It's all about making good, healthy decisions. Okay, so definitely want to encourage you not to settle. So again, share this with a young one. Share this with a millennial. They have so much ahead of them. And so we definitely want to make sure that we reach back and support our millennials. So again, I'm Monica Smith. I'm a realtor here in Maryland. I would love to help you in your home buying needs. Feel free to call me directly at 202-912-0017. You can always email questions or comments to the show at askmissrealestate@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. And again, remember, all things are possible through Christ who strengthens you and me. Thank you so much for watching.